Last time on the poker vlog.
Draw, and the big blind quickly tosses in the calling chip faster than any action for a high school boy on prom night. I might as well realize my equity at this point. I grab a stack of $5 yellows and add a white 100 on top and re-raise, putting him all in, and he snap calls. The flop is quite, well, just the nuts. I check, which is what I always do, but wonder what you think. Is this a board we should be leading into the pre-flop aggressor three ways?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Happy Face Hold'em. I'm Chuck. I got three quick announcements today. First, we have a meetup game at Hustler Casino, the West Coast Poker Vloggers. It's going to be January 9th from noon to 6. It's a 2-3 No Limit Hold'em game with a $100 to $500 buy-in cap. Sign up on Poker Atlas today to reserve your seat. We hope to see you there. Announcement number 2, we have a charity fundraiser poker tournament happening here in Simi Valley, home of the Happy Face on the Hill. That's where we get our channel name, Happy Face Hold'em. That's going to be January 22nd. It's a Saturday. It's a fundraiser for the local high school baseball booster club. Hope to see you there. You can sign up. All the details are in the description below. And if you choose to come out and play in that charity poker tournament, please indicate that you're sponsoring a player by the name of Spencer. That is my youngest. So look forward to seeing you guys there. And 3, on a sadder note, we say goodbye to one of our own in this video. So stay tuned for that. And let's get right into the hands down at Hustler Casino.
Getting started with another session at our favorite Los Angeles poker room, the Hustler Casino, playing 2-5 No Limit Hold'em with a 300 buy-in cap, so that's what we're in for. +1 raised to 25. The low jack and the hijack decided to make the call. Looking down at king, queen suited, Flintstone style, we squeezed to $80 on the button with this premium hand. Shout out to the legend Jay, who's the gentleman in the plaid shirt, always super friendly in the casino, and this is the first time we actually got to play in a game together. I hope I can outplay him. He's a vlog watcher. +1 makes the call without too much thought, and the player in the low jack eventually decides to make the call after thinking about it for quite some time. Unfortunately, Jay, you didn't join us in this hand. And the hijack quickly made the call behind to close the action. So here we are in our first hand of the game in a bloated $260 four-way pot. Now we pray for a good flop, but at least we're playing in position. The flop comes pretty ugly in the form of 7-3-5 with 2 spades. Ugh. Well, the action checks to me, and playing in position with 2 overs and high hopes, and probably one of the worst hands right now, we c-bet this one in the amount of 105. I consider a small bet, but I really don't want ace-king or ace-queen floating, so this bet was purely designed to get a fold out of everyone and win the 260 in the middle. I slide my bet in, and have to sweat through 3 players, needing to make $105 decisions. Heart starts thumping. Palms start getting sweaty. And we get it through. Thank goodness. What do you have to say, Mr. J?
Nice bluff. He's definitely not bluffing.
And with that, we have them confused. That's a good thing, right? In the next hand, I open the action to $15 after looking at suited Broadway, Jack 10 of hearts from early position. The low jack calls, then the hijack likes it, and he makes the call. Jay on the button makes the call, and the big blind will close the action by defending his blind for $10 more. So we'll be off to a 5-way flop with $75 in and $460 in our stack to start the hand. The flop is just about as good as it could get. 9-8-7 rainbow, we flop the absolute stone cold nuts. When the action checks to me, I want to put more money into this pot, but I have to decide on the right sizing. So I elect to go $35. This is a coordinated board. Any 10 or 6 is likely to float, and 2 pair combos of 7-8 and 8-9 are possible, and even hands like ace-king, ace-queen, and king-queen may float a street. The hijack decides to make the call, Famous J makes the call, and 3 ways to a turn with $180 in the pot now. The turn peels off the 9 of spades, a totally gross card. Probably the second worst card in the deck, and the action of course checks to me again. I don't block any 8-9 2-pair combos, but I go for a larger sizing of $110 anyways. The 9 doesn't help hands like ace-6, but it does bring in a backdoor spade draw. I go with the 110 targeting hands like ace-9, jack-9, 10-9, or other ragged 9x holdings. Jay says, I'm not going to chase it, as he flashes 2 spades. Glad to get this one through as Jay decides to rabbit hunt. And he finds he made a flush.
It doesn't mean anything. I know. He could have a full house. He didn't.
Another player argues I could have had a full house. But Jay, he knows better. I then look down at ace-10 offsuit and squeeze from the small blind to $20. And only get 1 caller from under the gun. We break the flop and run a runner to make a straight on the river, but can't get any added value after betting half the pot. Then in the hijack, starting with 600 in our stack, there was a raise to 20 with 1 caller, and I 3-bet small with a suited ace-king and get 1 caller. We get 3 low cards, no diamond flop, and the action checks through. The turn completes a wheel draw, and my opponent takes advantage of that and bets for value, giving us only one option: to fold. As things continue in the wrong direction now, we go set mining with pocket 5s, calling a $45 pre-flop raise against a player that more than covers us with about 1100 in his stack. A player after us raises to 175, and when the action gets back around to the player on our right, he shoves all in, leaving us with only a fold in our arsenal of plays. As it turns out, we would have hit our set on the flop and would have scooped this one up. Then in the cutoff, we raise after 2 players ahead of us limp in and get 2 players to call, including the big stack to our right. We flop top pair on a dry board and check through. The turn is a brick and he leads, and we just flat. The river's a blank 6 and he leads out for pot. We pay him off with our top pair, only to lose to 9-6. He too flopped top pair, but rivered 2 pair, bringing our stack back down to 360 on the day. Now sitting on the button, there's 4 players ahead of us that limp. I look down at ace-jack offsuit and think this is a good candidate to squeeze in position and raise to $30. I'm okay with just taking it down now, but happy to play in position, preferably narrowing the field down to just 1 or 2 other players. The small blind makes the call, then around a +1 who also decides to make the call. The hijack double checks his cards, and he makes the call for 25 more as well. Well, big stack in the cutoff, of course, isn't going anywhere. He makes the call. Like Shaggy and Scooby, my plan is foiled. Going to a flop 5 ways with 155 in the pot? I need a damn miracle. Please make some noise by taking a moment, ringing the notification bell, so hopefully the angels answer the call for that miracle. Thank you, everyone. A miracle indeed, with Jack, Queen, Jack, Rainbow on the flop, followed by a donk lead from the small blind for $50. Everyone else folds, and the action is back around to me. The only hand I need to worry about is Queen Jack and pocket queens. I cut out calling chips and look over at his stack, and he only left himself about 150 behind, so I jam for 155 effective. My thought is this: since 3 jacks are now out, it's super unlikely that he has a jack, and there was no 3-bet preflop, so that rules out pocket queens. Some drawing hands may play this way like ace-king and 10-9. Again, with no preflop 3-bet, I'm ruling out ace-king, leaving us playing against only one hand, 10-9. We quickly assess that we're correct in our read of the situation. No queen-jack or pocket queens, as the small blind doesn't snap us off. In fact, he goes into the tank. The longer he's in the tank, the more I like the situation. Hey, drop a comment and tell me your thoughts. The longer a player is in the tank, the more likely they are to call. True or false? A full 1 minute and 7 seconds passes before this player finally decides to make the call, after he says, "This is sick." As the 7 of clubs comes out, we're flipping over our hand, certainly the winner. The 3 of hearts shouldn't change anything either. He mucks, and Jay, who wasn't in the hand, claims they have a further discussion, and the small blind says he had a jack. Just happy to scoop this and get things back on track for the session. From under the gun, I open Queen Jack suited to $15. The button quickly makes the call. Out of position, 20 or 25 is probably a better size. The action folds around to the big blind, who defends for $10 more. The big stack at the table, sitting on about 1,500 versus our 650. 3 ways to this flop for $45. We flop top pair on a 2-club queen 10-6 board. This is an easy c-bet for about half pot. In this spot with top pair on a pretty wet board, I'm never certain in the right amount to bet. I have the nut advantage being the aggressor, and both callers have both the flush and straight draws in range, along with many king-queen and weaker queen holdings. Having the range and nut advantage on a board that connects well with the callers, maybe a larger sizing, but in any case, they both call. The turn pairs the board with a 6 of spades. I continue again for third pot after the big blind checks. As the action gets over to the button, he decides to put in a raise to $85. I have many hours on the felt with this player, and he's a good thinking player. Based on his play, I'm pretty certain he's a Doug Poke subscriber. Poke, by the way, commentates the Hustler Casino live stream often, and I really enjoy his content immensely. This bet puts me into the tank, and reminds me of something a friend once said. Why do I have to win this pot?
So we're gonna set the world record. 3 vloggers in the RV at once.
3 vloggers in the RV. Oh,
3, come in.
Here we go.
Rivoli, Ida.
Rest in peace, Mr. Vegas.
You have a 6 in your range. Add flat on the button, 5, 6, 6, 7. 2 combos of 5, 6, or 6, 7 suited.
Yeah, really in the tank on this one. I just let it go. Be sure to stick around to the end of today's video because I'm going to be showing you what's coming up on the next poker vlog. So stick around for that. It's an exciting one for sure as we make a tournament run. On the button with 590 in our stack, we see a premium ace-king suited of hearts. The big stack to our right, he opens to 15 and we're going to 3-bet this again. This time to $55. There's not much 3-betting that happens on the 2-5 games and the aggressive players typically do very well. Let's hope that's us as the session continues. Things have been moving back in the upward direction after taking a hit back to almost even earlier. The small blind decides to flat call my 55. This is really strange, as he'll be out of position and likely multi-way as the cutoff makes the logical call. So we're now bloated to 165 3 ways. Ace-king is a premium, so let's drill a flop. Or not. As the board comes out, 7, queen, 6, 1 heart. Okay. 2 overs and a backdoor and the ability to rep all the queens, maybe this board isn't too bad for both our range and our actual holding. I should be bombing the pot when the action checks to me, but I frickin' chicken out and check behind. Totally missed our opportunity. And guess what? We get rewarded with an 8 of clubs on the turn, completing both a straight and a flush draw. Maybe both these draws call on the flop and just save money, but the cutoff decides to bet this one to $55. I honestly have no idea what was going on in my head at the moment when I dial his number and make the call. If I had a plan, it should be to raise and rep the flush or straight, but clearly I'm not that good. The river brings in a 9 of hearts, not changing anything, and when he decides to check to me, I have opportunity number 2 to make a move, but I frickin' chicken out again, completely just donating to a losing cause. No need to rip me a new one in the comments. I know you want to, but I've beat myself up enough already. 4 days since I edited this video. Now and under the gun, I raised the $20 with 580 in my stack, holding pocket 7s and very frustrated with myself after that last hand. The cutoff, button, and big blind all make the call, and come post flop, I c-bet on a queen, queen 9 board, and that's enough to take this one down. I then 3-bet a premium ace-queen suited to 55 after a $15 open and get 4-bet jammed to 75 by the small blind. The original raiser then 5-bets to 200. I guess some will call this a nit play, but a fold it was for me, and we see 6-7 boat up against pocket aces. Good laydown. We then 3-bet 10-9 suited and take down a small pot against the player that just 5-bet in the prior hand, taking advantage of a frustrated player who just had their aces cracked. Moving on to ace-8 suited in the low jack with 590 in our stack, we raise the $20. The low jack and the high jack both like the price, and they're non-believers, making the call for $20 each. The big blind looks like he wants to make a move, and he joins the party for a ticket price of $15 to defend. So 4 ways with $80 up for grabs, and we're going to get a very trashy flop. 9, 9, 3 rainbow, 1 diamond. And the action checks through. A board I'm checking 100% with only 1 over and a backdoor. These cards don't connect well with my opening range at all. The 8 of clubs on the turn improves us to 2 pair, but brings in a club draw, and the action checks through yet again. Interesting. The river boats us up, and figuring we should have heard from a 9 on the turn when the flush draw arrives, I'm likely good now. The action checks to me, so I go for some thin value, hoping to get a call from someone with just an ace, and make it $20. I guess there's no other aces out there, and the action folds around, and we're happy to scoop up $80. Not the most exciting of hands, but this is sometimes how poker sessions go. But this next hand, it's a monster. I want to know how you would have played this hand. Under the gun opens to 15, and there's a quick 3-bet by +2 to 35. I flat the $35 on the button, and then the big blind and under the gun also make the call for 35. 4 ways with 140 in. I'm holding suited Broadway cards, ace jack of diamonds, and playing this one in position. The flop looks really good with 6, 10, 7, 2 diamonds. I'm thrilled to see this flop holding 2 overs and the nut flush draw. The big blind is the first to act and is tanking before making her move. I featured this player in vlog 68 when I cracked her kings with a spade flush. She open jams her short stack of 157. Oh gosh, what just happened? Now onto the player in the end of the gun seat. He's acting like he doesn't know what's going on, and after quite a bit of Hollywooding, you know what he does. He raises to $300. Not sure this is even quite an allowable raise, but close enough. I don't really care. With 400 or so in my stack, this is a jam or fold moment. I'm probably up against 2 overpairs or maybe 8-9 suited. The big blind could open jam with a set of 6s or 7s. Under the gun was the preflop raiser initially, so maybe he's got something like king, queen of diamonds. +2 gets out of the way, and it's on to me now. I don't like this spot, but I have the nut flush draw and high hopes and big dreams. So I jam my 441 that I have behind. It's make it or break it time for this session. It takes under the gun forever to call. More Hollywood, which is really weird because he's up against 2 players that are all in. All right, so let's see the run out for over $1,100 in this pot. We completely miss, but hit a single ace on the river. We are quickly shown a set of 7s from the under the gun player who did all the Hollywood acting. The lady in the big blind shows her pocket queens. A set makes sense from under the gun, and her overpair was pretty expected. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold, and that's a wrap for this session.
All right, guys, that's a wrap for this one. Stay tuned to see what's coming up on the next episode of Happy Face Hold'em. We jump into a tournament, and a quick shout out to Adrian from Ohio and Anthony from Georgia who supported the channel by picking up some Happy Face Hold'em merchandise. You can do the same right here at happyfaceholdem.com. We got the Rockin' Happy Face Hold'em hoodies. They say Happy Face Hold'em down the sleeve and our logo on the chest. You can pick up some Charlie card protectors, stickers, wristbands, and some other stuff, and just check out our website in general. Lots of good information there. We were into this session for 300. We played for just shy of 3 hours. All the details are right there. We were out for the big goose egg. It happens. Hustler Casino is still our favorite, and we hope that you come out to Hustler Casino on January 9th for the meetup game, the West Coast Poker Vloggers. And also, I hope to see you on January 22nd here in Simi Valley, home of the Happy Face on the Hill, for a charity poker event. Anyways, until next time, guys, don't forget, wash your hands.
Next time on Happy Face Hold'em.
We 3-bet an OMC and he calls. This cannot be good. We're in another spot with the nut flush draw. Can we take this one down? For our tournament life, can our pocket 10s beat pocket 8s?